Hello everybody, today we're going to do a quick look at how we multiply by 5 and multiply by 10. I think that a lot of you have already got this figured out, and so this may just be a really quick review for you. And for those of you that don't, I think you will be surprised by how easy it is. So if we have groups of 5 or groups of 10, then it makes sense that we are using skip counting by 5s or skip counting by 10s. Let me show you what I mean. For example, 4 groups of 5. If I had 4 groups and I had 5 objects in each, it makes sense that I would be using skip counting 5, 10, 15, 20 to find the total. 4 times 5 equals 20, or 4 groups of 5 equals 20. Now, if I flipped those around and I did 5 groups of 4, I know that that actually means something different. Now I have 5 groups and I only have 4 in each group. So in this case, I wouldn't be skip counting by 5s, I would be skip counting by 4s to get the answer. However, knowing that the answer is going to come out exactly the same as if I was doing this one, then when I'm just calculating and I'm not thinking about groups and I just need to know the answer, I can flip those around so that I can skip count by 5. So, having said that, anytime there is a factor that is 5, then you know that you can skip count by 5. For example, let's do 7 groups of 5. I know that I can skip count 7 times by 5 and get the answer. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So I know that my answer will be 35. And if I'm just doing a straight calculation, it doesn't matter if the 5 comes first. So 5 groups of 6. I'm going to skip count by 5 because 5 is a factor. 6 times. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. As long as there is a 5, then I can skip count by 5s. All right, the same goes for groups of 10. Now, I'm going to do this one slightly different because I want you to see a pattern. Okay, so I'm going to have 3 groups of 10, 8 groups of 10, and 4 groups of 10. Now, I'm not going to draw these groups of 10 because we know that we can skip count by 10 to get the answer. So if there's 3 groups with 10 in them, it would be 10, 20, 30. I would skip count 3 times and the answer would be 30. 8 groups of 10. I'm going to skip count 8 times. 5, 10, 15, 20. Ooh, I'm not skip counting by 5s, I'm skip counting by 10s. Let's try that again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 8 groups of 10 is 80. 4 groups of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. So, yes, we can skip count and get the product. But I want you to notice another pattern that we're seeing. When it was 3 groups of 10, my answer was 30. So here's my 3. When it was 8 groups of 10, the answer was 80. 4 and 4. So when we're multiplying by 10, we take the other factor and put a 0 with it, and that's going to be our answer. It is always good to know that we can get the answer by skip counting, and that really has more meaning than just finding this little trick of take the 3 and put a 0, take the 8 and put a 0. But once we have a very good understanding of multiplication, then these little tricks can be helpful in calculating the answers quickly. Again, it would not matter if I had the factors turned around. So we know that 10 groups of 4 would also equal 40. I can use the same rule. I can skip count by tens, or I can take the 4 and put a 0. So knowing that, what would 10 groups of 6 equal? You were right if you said 60. Take the other factor, put a 0, or skip count by 10 6 times. How about this one? 10 groups of 10. Well, I know that 10 tens are 100. And it also works for our little trick of taking the other factor, which is a 10, and adding an extra 0. 100. All right, so I hope this helps, and happy multiplying.